Greetings, everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about miracles. I'm going to talk about faith, love, patience, joy. I think all of these things cover the topic that I'm about to do. Now, I'm going to talk about Auntie Donna, the charity boss experience, traveling on Soup Airline and, ultimately ending up in Cuba, even though she was destined for Jamaica after her Canadian trip. Now, I always tell you people, and those of you who've been following me for a long time know that when I speak, I try to speak truth, but there's never any guile and there's never any malice in what I present. And so if I say something about somebody that could be seen as negative, it's never meant to be negative. It's always looking at the good, also talking a little bit about things that can be changed. But in terms of the woman I'm about to speak about, which is Auntie Donna, there's so many things about her that I can actually say she's a Jamaican national treasure, to be honest with you. Now, as I said, she was traveling from Canada, going back home to Jamaica, when the plane she was traveling developed mechanical problems. One of the engine was shut down. I don't know if it was forcibly shut down or it just shut down, but one of the engine was shut down. And as they were traveling, I think they were probably 20 minutes or 30 minutes away from Jamaica. They realized that they had to do an emergency landing, and so, based on what some of the people are saying, is they started seeing fuel, coming from one of the wing. So, people, you can just imagine the deadly situation or situation they find themselves in. And, I'm going to tell you the truth. It is crisis like this that really makes you see people's character or see your own. So, as she's telling the story about being on the plane and seeing people being so terrified, she just started to pray. She started praying out loud. First, she said, that God was in control. And it is not a lot of persons who are of faith, even some of the ones who criticize her and say that she's not a Christian or not Christian enough. When times like these come, how strong are you in your faith? That doesn't mean she didn't feel fear, but she's like, well, at this point, I have to turn to God, because without God, then this situation is going to be terrible, right? And that was in of itself an awful situation to find herself in. I can't just imagine how terrified the people were. But she talked about praying and, just surrendering everything to the Creator. But here's why I'm talking about this video. And folks, I do not share my dreams anymore. Unless I'm asked to come forward and do it, I no longer so. I have a reason why I'm talking about this. And on a day like today, it is strengthening my faith, my own faith in the supreme being, that God that exists within and without. I needed this story today. I didn't need to hear that they were in such grave danger, but I needed it as a reminder that, as I said, when you're going through that fire, just understand that, as she said, God is in control. She gets to Cuba. In the midst of this whole situation, the average person would be so shaken up, would be so unnerved that they'd be just sitting somewhere shaking. But not Donna. Donna is out there dancing and enjoying herself with the people who are in the lobby, those welcome people playing their Spanish music or whatever. But what is amazing, the woman at that point, something kicks in and she decides to go to charity. I think it's a very natural response for her. And if anybody ever question her intention, at this point, you see that she's called to this purpose. My first video talking about Donna was saying that you're called to this purpose. It reminded me of the Mother Teresa situation back then, and it confirms it for me now. She goes about and she starts collecting donation for the people who are there entertaining. And I thought that was very kind, and that concretized the idea that she is a kind person. So remember that God will use people who are imperfect. None of us are perfect, but there's something about this woman who's called to purpose when it comes to helping those who are less fortunate or being empathetic to people's situation. In every circumstance, she finds herself in a place where she's always thinking about people's needs. You can't make that up. That's no pretense. And there are a lot of individuals who are on social media who spend all their time talking negatively about her. If you're going to say something about her, say something that's constructive, even if she takes it a negative way. But she does have that kindness in her blood, in her heart, in her spirit. And I love that. She's dancing and she lights up the mood. And, it sort of changed the atmosphere with what had just happened. And I don't think Donna is fully aware of exactly what she escaped until she really gets home and realizes how good God is. Donna, I have left messages for you before, and there are times when sometimes you say things that seem like you're, just kind of giving me the shade. But I'm going to say this. If you were in a plane that was diving deep and could have ended in a very tragic way, and you maintain your cool, I don't want to ever see you on social media paying any attention to these haters or any attention to these people who have learned how to continue to attack you. It's not that they hate you, they actually love you. They talk about you negatively all the time because they know that with everything there's polarity, good and bad. And even if they speak negatively against you, people come and listen, even just to curse them. And there are people who are in social media who will say the opposite just to get people to come, and it's still a view, and it's still money in their pocket. At this point, you are ahead of the game, and you don't have to respond to any of these persons because you're in a whole league all by yourself. I mean, you have your own language that you create, you have your own following that you create. You everywhere you go, you have a vibe. And so, that's a blessing in of itself. Now I'm going to tell you, as I'm laying down in my bed, not feeling so good, and you're there, talking to everybody and securing people's phone and, worrying about the old lady, and all of a sudden just being this really nice person outside of the fact that when they push you, you can you can go left in 100, but you're a good person, and with goodness and with blessings, the devil is going to show up. Understand that when they come to attack you, nobody attacks the garbage truck. They will attack the brinks. And so if people are attacking you, understand it's a purpose. Understand it's because you're blessed. With every blessing, there will come the opportunity for you to see the opposite. Sometimes when people see your blessing and they're struggling, it just makes them angry. They're not angry at you, they're angry at God. When they see what God is doing in your life and they're not patient to wait for their turn, they will naturally attack you. Now, as you sit in the lobby and you're there talking, and then you see something and you jump up and you think it was fire on the hotel building. And then someone says, no, they're rendering or they're doing some mechanical work or whatever work they're doing where there's a bit of spark. It goes to show at that moment that no matter how strong we are, there comes a time when we can be broken. At that time, you're like, I can't deal with one more disaster, one more negative thing right now. And then when you realize it's nothing serious, work was being done, you sat down, you calm yourself. Remember that in the future, when people come after you to throw more fire onto the fuel, just remember a lot of time it is not real. It's not real. Just ignore them if you can. Find something within you to just bring out your happy. Because if you were able to bring out your happy in this circumstance, you can do it going forward. I appreciate what you do for people. I watch you from here or there. There are times when I don't really have time to watch, but when I get a chance, I follow these life events, these moments like what you did recently for the young man who wants to go to school. For those of you who constantly attack her for no reason, I think it's your form of entertainment. And I'm not here to talk about you because I don't really like this internet, debacle. or all these drama that goes on. I'm not interested because for what I see, it's mostly these big women who should know better, who should be setting good examples for their grandchildren and for the young people. And they're into these big messy situations. I'm not all about that. To my subscribers, thank you for continuing to support the channel, but you are the one who decide what happens with it. You like, you subscribe, and you share. This is how it's moved. YouTube doesn't determine that, you do. Stay blessed, everyone.